Hello everybody, happy Saturday. All right, tell me, since you've been staying at home and isolating, have any of you missed what day it is? Have you ever had to check your phone to Google what day it is? Yeah, I have. But today, I do know that it's the weekend. So it is the weekend, it is the third installment of our Golf Town virtual golf clinics hosted by me. My name is Lisa Blueswick, nicknamed Lisa Longball. I'm an 8-time Canadian long drive champion for women, and I currently compete on the Golf Channel's World Long Drive Tour. So I'm here while you're at home and you're dying for the golf season to start to give you some tips on how to hit the golf ball longer, straighter, and better. So I've been loving seeing all the comments. We've had people join us from the United States and England and Australia and all the people from across Canada. I love it when you put in your comments where you're from and if you have any questions. And I love it when you're tagging each other. If you tag other golfers who you think might enjoy this clinic. So continue to do that, continue to share, and I'm going to keep giving you some great tips, hopefully to help you when we start the season. We can start dropping your scores and hitting the ball longer and straighter. So today's clinic is about how do we hit our golf clubs, especially our irons, better. Now, this is a really important tip because have any of you ever hit it skinny? Have you ever hit it skinny? Have you ever hit a worm burner, cold top it, where you barely get it off the tee, it barely goes far off the ground? We've all done it. So if you've done that, how can we fix that? How can we fix that? Well, that's what today's lesson is about. And I'm welcoming people. I see Charlie coming in from Winnipeg. Hey, Charlie. And Nancy from Peterborough. That's fantastic. Suzanne's out there. Glad you're brightening your day. And Randy from Saskatchewan. That's awesome. All right, so how do we stop from hitting it skinny and cold topping and all that? All right, on the first lesson that I did on Tuesday, we talked about warm-up. So I talked about warm-up. I wanted you to warm up for 5 minutes. And if you warmed up for 5 minutes prior to your round, then I knew that you would be hitting better shots on the first hole versus the 4th or 5th hole. If you missed that, go to the Golf Town Facebook page. All of these videos will be living there. So if you've missed any, you can go back and watch some. So what do we do? As soon as you finish that warm-up, like I talked to you about, that 5-minute warm-up, what do you do? Okay, now it's time to go to the range. What club do you pull out? Well, often when I'm on the range, someone comes up beside me with their golf bag. What's the first club they pull out of their bag? If you said driver, you would be correct. So that's usually what most people put in the bag when they hit the driving range. Well, that's the worst club to hit at first. That's the hardest club in your bag to hit. It's the longest club with the least amount of loft. You got to start with something easy, something that's easy with lots of loft and a shorter club. So I want you to start with your wedge. Just giving a shout out there. I see Michelle coming here. She's loving the videos and tips. Oh, and Karen likes my outfit, doing kind of the Arnold Palmer today with the cardigan today. So thank you very much. So what I want you to grab, when you first go to the driving range, I want you to grab a wedge. Again, something with lots of loft and a shorter golf club. Now, when you go to hit your first ball, I actually don't want you to hit a golf ball. The first thing I want you to do when you pull out your wedge, I simply want you to brush the grass. So when you get out there, this is what I want to see. I want to see you getting out there, no golf ball, and make some swings. Now you see there, I didn't brush the grass. That's what today's lesson's about. This is what you need to focus on. When you make that swing, brush the grass. I want to see you every time brush the grass. Because what happens is, if all these tips I'm going to give you in these weeks, this is probably the most important, which is brush the grass. Why? That is what creates contact. Now, when I say brush the grass, I'm not looking for a big beaver pelt to go flying through the air. What I'm looking for is just a brush of the grass, maybe a bacon strip. That's usually what I take. When I brush the grass, you'll see a small little divot, but it's more like a bacon strip. Hey, we're Canadians, we love bacon, so go for the bacon strip. You don't have to be worried about that big PGA Tour, LPGA Tour a divot, as I said, beaver pelt. Just brush the grass. So when you get set up, no golf ball, the only thing I want you focusing on, brush the grass. You need to hear that thud. So often, when my husband and I go golfing, we'll get paired with another couple. And so what happens is, when we get paired with that other couple, I'll see the lady set up for her golf ball. She's got a great setup, great swing. She goes to make her golf swing, and her golf swing looks like this. And when she makes that swing, she all of a sudden, she cold topped it, and it kind of was just skidding along the grass, maybe going 110 yards. And then her husband will say to her, "Oh, sweetheart, you lifted your head. You lifted your head." We've all heard that. We've all heard that. And she's thinking to herself, I didn't think I lifted my head. So what's her next shot look like? This is what her next shot looks like. She doesn't want to lift her head. So she does this. She does this because she's not going to lift her head. So she goes to make her golf swing. It looks like this. And she cold tops it again. It dribbles off the tee. And then her husband says, "Oh, sweetheart, you lifted your head again." And she's like, "I didn't lift my head. It was glued to my chest." And the divorce open starts. So here's the thing. She didn't lift her head. That is the worst advice you could ever give a golfer. She didn't lift her head. If we were outside right now, I would go outside. If we were on a driving range, I could lift my head like this. And if I made a golf swing, I could still, we'll do this one more time, hold on, lift my head like this. And I could still hit it 160 yards. It doesn't make any difference at all about lifting your head. What happened is she came out of her posture. So she either straightened her legs, or what happens more often than not, she lifted her torso. Now, bless the husband's heart, he was trying to help. And if you look at my head, as you can see, it looks like my head is lifting. But there's a big difference between you lifted your head and you lifted your torso. So that's a terrible swing thought that you lifted your head. And I have to tell you, we get people on the golf course who give us tips all the time. We need to stop that because that's not the right advice. And I know that they might be trying to help your golf game, but it actually is hurting your golf game. And I just want to say a big shout. I see Doug here from Kelowna. That's awesome. And that's funny. Marianne asked if I knew her husband. See, she's heard that lifted your head thing before, right? But here's the thing, you can't take lessons from people on the golf course. The only people that you should be taking lessons from are PGA of Canada, LPGA, and PGA of America instructors. Why? Because they have gone to school to learn how to teach the game. And they are the ones who know how to fix your game. Now, I'm sharing tips that I've learned from my PGA of Canada instructors, but I don't ever teach individual lessons. You need to go see your PGA of Canada, PGA and LPGA of America and LPGA instructors. So here's the problem. What do we say on the golf course? So there's been times when I've been on the golf course, I've hit a crummy shot, and my playing partner will go ahead and give me a golf tip, and it's not the right golf tip. And I find it really frustrating. So I was trying to be polite and not say anything. Well, my husband got irritated with it. So my husband said to the guy, he said, "Hey, Bob, what was it you said you did for a living?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a geologist." And my husband said, "Let's keep it that way." And it's true. We're not walking into our dentist's office teaching them how to do a root canal. So why are you taking lessons from Joe Schmo on the golf course or Joanne Schmo on the golf course when they don't know what they're talking about? So again, we have to shut that down. So you need to have a line that when someone starts giving you tips on the golf course, you need to say, "Oh, actually, I already have a swing coach and we're working on some things." But you've got to shut it down right away. But please, if you're on the golf course and you're struggling and you say, "Oh, what am I doing wrong?" You deserve it. You deserve those tips. So don't ask what you're doing wrong. Please go see your PGA and LPGA instructors to get proper tips. All right? Okay, so we talked about when you cold top the ball, when you hit it skinny, what happens is that you didn't brush the grass. So when you made your swing, your swing could look beautiful. This swing right here, that's a nice looking golf swing. That ball might have gone a foot, 2 feet off the ground and barely traveled. Why? Because I didn't brush the grass. So what happens when you come out of your posture, so either lifting your legs or usually, as I said, lifting your torso, even if you only lift your torso 1 inch, let's say you lift your torso 1 inch, now you're hitting halfway up the ball. Let's say you lift your torso 1.5 inches, now you're barely catching the forehead of the ball. So it's not a massive lift, it's just a little lift and you'll have terrible contact with the ball. So again, you have to focus on brushing the grass. If you brush the grass, you're going to have proper contact with the golf ball and you're going to stop hitting those worm burners and those skinny shots. So when I go to the driving range, the first thing I do before I even touch a golf ball, I do 5 swings. 5 swings where I brush the grass. 5 swings where I brush the grass. And once I brush the grass 5 times, I get a cookie. What's a cookie? A golf ball. Then you can have a golf ball, okay? Now, the way we can practice brushing the grass is truly a practice swing. A practice swing is a wonderful way to see, are you actually brushing the grass? So this is what you need to do. When you're playing golf, do a practice swing, and your sole purpose of your practice swing is to make sure that you are brushing the grass. And if you don't brush the grass, are you allowed to take a second practice swing? Well, sure, go ahead, really quickly, go ahead and take another quick practice swing to see if you can brush the grass. If you miss it again, can you take a third? No, you can't take a third practice swing. That's annoying. No one wants to play with anyone who takes 3 practice swings. So make sure you can take a practice swing. If you miss the grass, take another quick one. And then if you miss it again, hope and pray. hope and pray because you got to go hit that golf ball. Pace of play is very important, and you always want to make sure that you're keeping pace of play when you're out there on the golf course. But that's why we take practice swings, is to make sure we brush the grass. And it's super important to take those practice swings, especially if you have any hill lies, uphill lie, downhill, or side hill lies. Very important to take practice swings when you're doing that. We're going to do a shout out here, and I see Gary. That's wonderful to see you. Porter. There's Porter, who's a coach from the United States. That's awesome. And also Rebs, welcome. Hi from Manitoba. That's fantastic. So thanks very much. So these are some of the things that you can be doing to make sure that you have better contact. And here's the thing. You need to make sure you brush whatever the ball is sitting on. So for instance, if the ball is sitting on grass in the middle of the fairway, you got to brush the grass, okay? If the ball is sitting on a tee, so it's teed up for a tee shot, you have to brush the tee. And if the ball is sitting on the sand, you need to make sure you brush the sand in a green side bunker. Not a fairway bunker, but a green side bunker. If you don't brush the sand, that ball is going to go shooting out across the green. So again, you have to brush what the ball is sitting on. So really focus on making sure that you're brushing the grass and doing that. And I definitely think that you're going to have so many more shots that you're going to be so pleased with. You're going to have better contact, and it's going to be fantastic. So again, I also have people that struggle with hybrid. So people will say to me, because we talked about trying to hit all our clubs better, right? So hitting the hybrid is also making sure that you're brushing the grass. But what I see with hybrid, now hybrid, for those of you that don't have a hybrid is a fantastic club. A hybrid's a hybrid between an iron and a fairway wood. And what it does is it replaces your harder to hit irons. So like a 3-iron, a 4-iron, those are harder to hit. So a 4 hybrid would be like a 4-iron, and a 5 hybrid would be like a 5-iron, and so on and so forth. So this just makes it a little bit easier to hit, a little bit more versatile. But I've had so many people that say to me, oh, I've been told, Lisa, I should get a hybrid, so I go and buy this hybrid. It's going to be the Miracle Club, and I hit it like a donkey. What's going on? So if you're someone who hits your hybrid like a donkey, what's going on? Well, typically, because a hybrid looks more like, it has that bulkier back, looks more like a bit of a fairway wood, or maybe even a driver type, a wood, people are trying to sweep it a little bit more. Well, here's the thing. In a properly struck iron shot, you have to make sure you hit down on the ball. I talked about this on the Thursday class, so class number 2, I talked about the importance of hitting down on the ball, trapping the ball, compressing the ball for good iron shots. And it's the same for hybrid. If you're out there and you're struggling hitting a hybrid, I want you to think of the swing thought: trap the ball, compress the ball, hit down on the ball, and that will help you get a better shot, better contact. So again, that's a great tip if you're struggling with your hybrid, to do that. And in my last class on Thursday, I gave 2 drills about how do we have better contact with our irons, and this would be great for the hybrid too. You can use that. Remember, we talked about the tee ball. If you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it, where we put a ball beside a tee beside the ball, make a strike. See, did we brush the grass? Is our bacon strip or our divot at least at the ball and going forward in front of the tee, never behind the tee? And then also putting a tee in front of the ball, making a swing where you kind of hit down the ball, trap it, compress it, brush the grass. Basically, if you brush the grass, you should knock that tee out. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back to video number 2 to watch that. So hopefully these tips will help you hit all your shots better, get rid of that cold top, that worm burner, that skinny shot, so that we can hit all our clubs better. So hopefully you've enjoyed this lesson today. Next week on Tuesday, that'll be our next live lesson. We're actually going to talk golf fitness. What are some things we can be doing at home? Bring your juniors along too. That could be phys ed class, right? What are some things we can be doing to work on our strength at home and fitness, so that when we get on the golf course, we can start adding yardage to all our clubs and hitting it better. So thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you had a great lesson. Again, if you've missed any of them, you can go to the Golf Town Facebook page, and as soon as this video is done, we're going to post it up there as well, and please feel free to share with friends. Thanks very much, everyone, and enjoy your weekend. Lisa Longball signing out.